by any company, any corporate for their customers, maybe for their employees, maybe for their customers, maybe for anybody in the society, any particular kind of people in the society or people at large. So there may be various kinds of corporate events. Events may be the education and career events. Education and career events, and education event where you are going to give some kind of education, maybe to your employees or maybe to the outsider people who are paying for it and wants to increase their knowledge in a particular area. The career events are also conducted where the children, after completing their school or college, they want to find out their own career. So there are various events are conducted by which people may come to know about the various possibilities they have got in their life, and so there one can even advertise their own particular programs, or even the universities and colleges, they can also take part in that career event so that they can attract more students in that, in their organizations, in their institutions. There may be social event where people from the society uh, takes part in it for a particular purpose. The purpose may be get together. The purpose may be any cultural issue, any cultural program, or any other thing that is for the satisfy the interests of the people who are interested in that particular kind of event. There may be some kind of marketing events where one requires to market their own products, and while selling the products, it's very important that one should market their products in a way that people should come to know about the specifics of the products, the kind of product, how it is available, where it is available, what is the price, what are the qualities and specifications of the particular product. So that it can be done through a marketing event. So marketing events are conducted by various organizations, various those who are selling particular manufacturing or selling some particular kind of products. So they are also doing marketing event. These events can be organized in-house. This can be organized by taking a hotel or taking any other venue, or even sometimes these events are conducted in a trade fair on exhibitions and all that. So the very purpose is to make people know about the particular kind of product. So whatever kind of event it may be, when you talk from the point of view of event management where the training is involved, it's basically for the purpose of sharing things with people who are interested. It may be for a profit, with a profit motive, or may not be. So that depends upon what kind of event is being conducted. Now, from this point of view, there are various kinds of events, and every event has got its own specific requirement and specific way of looking at it. Something like event management is important to be taken into consideration. So, what is an event management? Let us just try to see it at a glance. Although I've given a full definition of it, event management is the process of analyzing, planning, marketing, producing, and evaluating an event. So, whatever event one wants to make, so that event itself, as I told you earlier, is not a very easy process. It's an elaborate process, and it takes a lot of time to comprehend that, to think about that, plan about it, market it, and ultimately producing that, and ultimately also evaluating that program. So there are various steps involved in event management. So it's a process of analyzing that how the things are going to happen, how we are going to conduct this program, who are the possible participants, how can you invite them, how can you make them know about this particular program, what will be the venue. So there are various issues about it. Now the planning aspect also involves where that how to plan about it, that who is going to take the various, who is going to do various actions, who are the in charge of this, doing all these kinds of things, who will collaborate, and how the things will be cooperated with each other, how we're going to market the product, and then ultimately how are going to produce the product. The product itself has to be produced. If it is a training program, then you have to make a training schedule, you have to make a get the training materials and so many other things which are required for conducting a program. And ultimately, of course, evaluating the event is important because that's going to give guidance for us for the other future things to happen, right? And so it's different way of promoting a product, service, or idea. It's a we need to promote it. As we promote a product or any kind of service, it is also required to be promoted, but it has got a little different way, little different path. If it is not even event is managed efficiently, it can be a very powerful tool for many other people who are going to market their products and services. So event management is a process. An event is a process by which you can make people aware of so many things, whether it's imparting the knowledge or it's selling a particular product or gathering people for sharing the knowledge and the cultural events and all that, these kinds of things. So an event is something which need to be managed because it's not an easy process and it's not a one-day process. It may stretch over 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, 1 month, depending upon the kind of program, kind of event that one is going to conduct. Now, let us just see in a nutshell what is the event management process. An event management process is to be looked into like this. There are 5 stages as the stages of management. The functions of management are described here. You have to initiate the process, then you have to plan for it, what you are going to do. Then after the planning, the execution is to be done about that particular event. And then there are controlling functions that things do not go the wrong way. Things, whatever has been decided earlier, that is being done properly and it's meeting its goal. And then ultimately there's a closure as you do any kind of project. So event management has got these 5 stages. Let us see these 5 stages one by one. Number 1, the initiation phase is an important initiation process, an important process. So the first thing is that we have to announce a project. So first you have decided that you're going to do a particular event and that needs to be announced. Let the people know about it, right? And while announcing the project, one has to state the purpose for which that event is going to be done. The people should know about it. Then one has to, once this is announced, the purpose is stated, so people will be invited. And then the in-house works are the identifying the project management, that how this is going to be managed and who are the people who will be involved in this process and what will be their roles. So then initially one has to start with these ideas, the project, the purpose, and the people who are going to be involved, right? So the project, when you announce about it, there one has to specify what is the goal of that particular event and what is the scope of that project, who is going to learn what, how it is going to be beneficial for the people who are going to attend that event, right? And then identifying the core team who is going to be involved in the process of doing various things for realizing the particular event. And very important part of that is that defining the various kinds of channels and methods, channels by which you are going to market that particular event, right? What will be the frequency of that giving various things in the channels, how we're going to market frequently, what will be the content of those communication process, those are to be decided. That is the initiation process, and that will definitely involve that what kind of cost one can incur, because the cost is a very important factor. On the basis of which everything else will be decided. The venue will be decided, the place will be decided, the frequency and methods of channels will be decided. So the initiation process will start with that. Initiation process necessarily it consists of formally validating or authorizing the project. So the first thing is that the initial things, as you know, that for starting anything, there will be certain initial things like feasibility study, whether this is possible to be done or not. And if it is possible to be done, what are the steps that require to be taken? What are the preliminary requirements for conducting that particular event? And when you say talk of an event, the most important thing one has to think about that, what is that particular event? Who is there any demand for that particular event or not? And how, what is the purpose of your conducting the event? And if it is a training program, who are the people who may be interested in it? Who may be your target group, maybe your target people? What cost you will what fees and charges that will keep so that people can afford to take it, right? What will be the venue which should be convenient for the people who are going to attend the program. So there will be various preliminary studies involved in it, which will initiate the process. And once the initiation is started, the next process will start the brainstorming or the planning phase. The planning phase will involve the what are the tasks that are required to be done to achieve that particular uh, product project goals. Here the project is a venue, or event. Well, so what are the tasks required? What are the efforts required for doing that? What are the estimated efforts required for conducting this particular kind of event? Some kinds of events are very easy to be conducted because there are already specified group of people who are going to attend it, and it's already known. But in certain cases, it may be very difficult because you cannot comprehend, and therefore you cannot think of whether you at all you will get the audience that is required for that. And depending on the kind of program, what kind of people, what kind of faculty, what kind of things are required to be arranged for. So that will involve identifying the risk and develop a plan to control them. So identifying the risk in the sense that even if you think of plan for doing the event, whether the ultimately the event will be materialized or not, what are the risks involved, what are the conditions involved in it, what may be the particular risks. May, for example, that if you are planning to do an event, a training event, now it may, at the end of the day, you may find that you do not get the participation. So that is a risk that you're already going to book your hotel or going to make certain payments somewhere, you're going to incur certain expenditures. So if it doesn't happen, then what you're going to do? Estimate the required staffing levels and specialties. That is, what kind of people do you want who are going to involve in the process, who is going to do what? Because there will be various particular works, the definite work, the technical works also sometimes, how we are going to get the staffing for that. Estimating the quantity and timing of materials and equipments needed. What kind of equipments that you want? You have to plan for it, and from where you are going to procure it, and if you are going to purchase it or you're going to hire it, then from where you're going to get it. What are the costs involved in that? And to what quantity and what time do you require that? Whether this is available at all in a short notice or not. So you have to estimate those things. Defining the task sequence and develop a schedule. That's a very important thing, that from the day one till the date of completion of the particular event, you have to create a task sequence. The first thing first, then one after the other, depending upon the first step, the second step will be decided, and then you have to need to develop a schedule. Certain things may be done simultaneously, certain things will be done serially. So you have to define the task sequence. You have to estimate the cost, the labor involved, the cost involved, the materials and facilities that are required, and for that, what is the budget available? So for that, one has to make a planning beforehand. What is the minimum cost that is one is going to incur? And if the program doesn't, or the event doesn't happen at all, what is the minimum expenditure that one has to make? So the cost will be involved in that. So one has to take care of, understand these aspects very well in the planning phase. And then once the planning phase is done elaborately, it is done properly, then there comes that there is a time has come to start the program of the execution phase. The execution phase will be supported or initiated by the project plan, which is already decided. So now, before the programs are started, if the program is already started, there will be certain pre-event activities which have to be performed, right? And those activities may involve the kind of event that we're going to do, what will be the materials, and who is going to uh, develop those materials, development of the materials, deciding about the venue, deciding about the target group of people, and deciding about the people whom we are going to invite, and deciding about the ways and means, the various channels of marketing for that. Those are the pre-event activities. And then execution of those plans, right? Execution of those plans is required, that one by one, maybe different people will be given different responsibilities, and even certain things can be outsourced. Maybe for the marketing, you can outsource somebody who can take care of the marketing aspects. Somebody may look for the venue. Some people may be involved in the process of developing the materials and all that. So executing the project plans one by one as the day of the event is coming things should be ready. And so everything has to be accomplished so that the project goal is achieved. And then finally, the project goal is the stage where the product of the goal will be delivered on the activities on the scheduled day. On the scheduled day, the product will be available. So execution process right from the project plan for executing and getting the product. And this is a very natural process of execution. The continuing process means while the project will be on, the process of doing the event will be on, various things that to be taken into account. Need to monitor, need to measure and report the performance of the project activities. I mean, if the event is to be done, the various aspects of it should be completed by the day of the event when it is ultimately going to be delivered. So one need to monitor it, one need to measure it, and if there is a big event, the reporting system has to be done so that everyone knows about what's going to happen when. One need to verify the project is running within the scope. That's an important thing because one has to see whether the cost, the budget that is there, other things are not going beyond that. If you are going to hire a place, a venue, what will be the cost involved with that? What is the minimum charges they're going to take from you if at all you are going to conduct the program? What are the things that is required for managing the equipments, and from where you're going to get the various equipments, like if it is an event training program, the LCD projectors, uh, various other, the sound system and all that, how it is available and what will be the cost involved in that. And if it is being outsourced from somebody, whether it is available on that particular day, that is to be continuously monitored. And if by chance there is a change in the event, in the project, maybe in terms of deciding the venue, finalizing the venue, or for any other thing, those are to be controlled. So that is the process. One has to be always on the hills to understand it every day. One has to take care of those issues. So that control will involve the schedule control, how the schedule is going to happen for the particular event. And sometimes the schedule may also be changed depending upon if this is a very special program and there are various invitees or guests are going to come. So there will be various timings involved in it. So which things are going to happen, the schedule is to be taken into account. The cost is to be controlled. There is an ultimate budget within which everything has to be done. The quality of the particular event has to be taken into account and must ensure that the quality is maintained. In particular, for any event training company, training organization, or a freelancer, he has to maintain his quality. Otherwise, his future prospects will be diminished. Well, risk monitoring and control. That risk monitoring is one has to take into account this aspect in the sense sometimes it may also happen that you are not going to the requisite amount of uh, attendance of the target participants. Then maybe in the last moment you have to change your venue. So what are the risks involved in that? Whether it is available or not, one has to take care of that right from the beginning. And then comes our next phase, that is the closure phase. Once the initiation is done, the execution is done, the continuous monitoring of the events is done, then there comes the closure. The closure is the last day when the particular event is managed. The event takes place, and so the day when the product is delivered and the goals are met, the event is done. But even then the various other work still remains pending. There'll be various issues involved. The open issues are to be resolved in the sense when the program is over, the event is finished, it's completed, then one may have to take into account what are the expenditures involved, who is going to be paid what, the charges for the hotel or the particular place, or the charges for other people from where you may have heard certain things, the payment for the guest faculties and all those contractual obligations are to be completed on the closure day. And that is also important in the sense that if this is not done properly, the next time whenever you're going to conduct a program, that may become an issue. So you may not get that kind of facility from the people who are already doing certain things. So to see that things are running very smoothly and everything is done properly so that the future relationship with the various the people remains intact. complete paperwork for formal completion of these. There may be certain paperwork to be done, and those are to be completed. And well, this is also important, evaluating the program, that what went wrong and what went very good, went well. So that has to be also taken into account. Those are to be jotted down, because those is, we should jot down all these things in the form of a documentation. That becomes a guidance for the future works. You can always go through the previous programs where the various kinds of things what has happened, who are the people who are involved in this process, who are the people from your outsourced works, and what is their performance, and depending upon that, you can engage them in future projects also. So that also becomes an important thing, necessary thing, while taking into account mm, the process of the closure. So in a nutshell, you see that it, an event is something where one can market their product. The training organization can give training to various interested group of people. An organization may conduct a particular program for their employees. So there may be various purposes for doing an event, but for that we require to manage the event, because management of event is required, because it's not a very easy process. You have to initiate, you have to plan, you have to think of the various issues involved in it, and then you have to make a closure, in the sense you have to take feedback and evaluate the things which has happened. So all those things are to be taken into account. So the various steps involved, as I have already told you, that to initiate it, you have to, one is to execute it, then one is to continue it, in the sense you're monitoring the various specific happenings that is happening in the particular event, and then there ultimately there will be closure. It's a, seems to be a small process, but it's not so small a process. It's a big process, but has been said here in a very nutshell. So now, before I go further, I would like to know that if anybody has got any concern about this, anybody got any thought about this, which they want to share or want to ask about, so that I can orient my further talks according to that. So if anybody has got any question on this, what has been said so far regarding an event. Yes, please, you may come out if you have got any question on this.
Morning, sir. Arpita here.
Yeah.
Sir, how do we self-evaluate if you're organizing an event? Is it appropriate to take feedback in a formal manner? How do we evaluate our success of the program?
Just once more, please, once more, little louder.
Yes, sir. How do we evaluate the success of the program?
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you evaluate the success of a program? That's a very good question. See, the success of the program, the first line of evaluation is the feedback from the people who are already attended the program, right? It may be your employees, or it may be the outsiders who will give their feedback. And also in most of the events, we keep a process of taking the feedback from the people. And feedback is the best way of this thing. One is, some people will observe the program, observe the event, and then the second thing is they'll take the feedback, and the third thing is that post the event, how the people are going to utilize that. And if you keep on keeping some contact with those people, whether it is outside or insider, one can keep a contact with them and see how they're going to utilize that kind of program that has been done. And if it is being done and people have been benefited by it, even they express it later, that also becomes a way of evaluating the program's success, right? Yes, please. Come out. Anything else? Hello? Hello?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Anybody has got any question on that? Please come out with your questions. Particularly, you are all those people who intends to be a freelancer as a trainer. They may have got certain questions in mind. Although we can talk about that at the last session. But still, if you have got anything to ask right till now, you can very well ask me. Any question?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Good morning, sir. Sonali here. Actually, in the last slide, you spoke about completing some open issues. So I missed some part of it. So could you please tell me again what are the open issues after the training program is over?
Okay. The open issues of the program is over. That's right. So the issues means the program is already over, but you may have various contractual obligations to be fulfilled, like making payments to the hotel or for the venue, making payments to the faculties, making payments to various other agencies, which is an open issue because until you have to complete it, although the program is over, but your work is not over. Those are the open issues, and those are to be completed. And those are important from the sense that if you can keep good relations with them and do it amicably and properly, that is going to help you in the future programs to be conducted. So those are the open issues, right? And also apart from that, for an organization, the issues may be that after completing this thing, that they may need to take a feedback in some later date to understand the efficacy of that particular program for the training program, how those things are being utilized by the people who have taken that kind of training program and it has been implemented in their work area. Those can be considered as an open issues which have to be completed because otherwise things will remain incomplete, and incomplete things is going to create a bad image for the organization, and they're not going to get the best of the benefit of doing that event. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chakravarti, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Sharmishta on this side. Sir, when you talked about the types of events, we have 4, right?
Talked about which event? Once
the types of events.
Right? Types of events, yeah.
The types, yeah. So there are corporate, education, social, and marketing. So what I wanted to check was strictly from a facilitator's point of view. Can we put an open house kind of a program and an event at a same level when we talk about facilitation?
Talk of?
An open house, you know, the kind of open house programs which are run. I'm speaking from a point of view of a facilitator, only a facilitator. Can we view event management as same as when we are, let's say, we are sponsoring, not sponsoring, but we are running an open house workshop? Will it be the same?
Okay. So open house workshop, you mean to say whether the open house workshop can be categorized as an event? Is that your question?
Well, that's one part of it.
Well, so that's being done, you know, that also in itself is an event. Actually, it is a part of an event, you know. When you are intending to do a bigger event or a better event, so you may start with an open house session where you can call people and market your product. When you market your product, then people come to know about you. Even that itself is a very important event because that on the basis of which you are going to create further events in your program, and that's a very good way of marketing your products in the market, right? So as a trainer, so you can keep open house program. That the purpose may be different. The one purpose may be that keeping it as an open house program, you can understand specifically what are the requirements of the people, and you can make your future program according to that. That's one aspect. The another thing is you have already pre-decided your program, and you can make people know about that particular program. People come to know about it. You give them a glimpse of what you're going to do in your actual program. People come to know about it, they get attracted, and thereby you can increase the participation in your program. So that itself is a part of a bigger event, but that is also an event, and that's a very important thing, and that is being done by people. And that such kind of open workshop, maybe you may charge nothing, or you can give them, simply call them and give a cup of tea, and just you want to market your products, or you may keep some charges. That depends upon your position and your reputation in the market. Right?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Anything else?
Yes, very much. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, any other person? Any question? No question? If there's no question, then I'll go ahead. May I go ahead? Yes?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Well, now I'm being a little more specific now about the event management for the trainers who are going to conduct their training programs, and for that they are going to make an event. What are the things they should look into it? So suppose you are interested to do an event, you want to conduct your own program in the market, then where will you start? Well, the first thing will be that market research in event planning. Market research in event planning is very, very important. You can please try to understand today things are highly competitive. As regards 1 decade back, things are not so highly competitive as today are. Although there are more realization amongst people that training is an important issue, but they have got various sources from which they can get training. And not only that, today, even the time has come when, apart from the physical training, there are online trainings are available. So there is veracity of training programs available in the market. So if you want to do your own event, you need to make a market research. That number one, what is the mode you are going to take? Because today we'll think about whether we need to do a physical program, or we need to do a program in some online platform, like as we are doing right now, or any other platform that you may use. So but depending upon the cost involved in it, the time available for the people, and the choice of the people, so you need to make a market research. And in that market, the first thing maybe you may be thinking about that what is the existence of market, that if at all you come with a particular event, whether there is a demand for that in the market or not. So deciding about the particular topics or the particular thing, whether that will be sold in the market, that's one very important issue, that who are the people who are already conducting these kinds of programs. So you have to see that, and you have to compare your capacity and your things, and how to differentiate from them. You have to take that thing into account. So the first thing will be just keep on getting the information from the market, from the websites, from meeting people, from talking to the different training organizations. So you can get a glimpse of what's happening, maybe on a particular area of the subject, or that what are the things they do, how they do, and everything, and whether that whatever they're doing is a profitable proposition or not. So when you enter into a market, right from the beginning, you cannot just go and bang on the market. It's not possible. You have to start somewhere, and that starting will have you have to start mm, from the very first step. And for that, first thing you should see that what is the market. If the market is there, we need to make an analysis of that. And if the market is available, who are the target groups? Because you have to make your program. You see, generally as a trainer, there are two ways by which one looks at the events they are going to conduct. Number one, if he has got a very special thing to share with people, it's a different thing, right? Entirely different thing, because he knows what he's going to deliver. He only promotes and propagates his ideas and thoughts, what he's going to do. And the other way is going to the market and seeing the target group of people, a specific target group of people, and what is their requirement. And according to that, you make your own programs, right? So there are two ways. One thing, you have got a prefixed program. The other way is that you decide a program which should be done depending upon the target group and their requirement, their characteristics, right? So what is the requirement of today by the different kinds of people? As you can understand, even right now, what's happening because of this COVID-19, the entire thing has changed now. The way of delivering the programs has changed, right? The requirement of people have changed. The people are more inclined to certain kinds of programs. So that kind of research is to be made, and that will become your initial point, because everything will be decided on the basis of that. On the basis of that, everything will be decided. You can decide your program, you can decide your venue, you can decide your and many other things. So that is the first step. let us see the next step, that you need to become very clear. Don't be subjective about it, but be highly objective about it. It is that, as I told you earlier, there is a very high competition today in the market. Does not mean that you are not capable. You are highly capable, but there is a competition, and in that competition, you may be lost. Nobody knows about it. So you have to see that who are your competitors and how do you stand in comparison to that, right? Because if you cannot stand in front of that, you can stand only when you know what they're doing. Maybe at the end of the day, you may find that you can do even still better, much better than them. But you can always develop. Even if you're lacking somewhere, you can develop. So you need to understand what the competitors are doing and who are your competitors, what is the level of your competitors, and what is the number of your competitors available in a particular area. So who are the people? Who is the first important? Who are the people? What is their experience and what is their existence in the market? To what level they're existing? How they're doing? What is their way of doing their things? What are the kind of program they're doing? How they're doing it? Are they just making their marketing to the social media, or they are doing in open house sessions? How they're conducting it, and what kind of response they're getting in the market? Well, when these things, the two things are seen carefully, those are to be seen. Then comes the quality of the program. Yeah, that is a very important thing. What is the quality of the program? It does not mean that if your quality, you think that your quality is better than the other, but there may be some other person who may have even better than yours. So look at the quality and try to make your programs accordingly, so that you can have the best of it and you can differentiate yourself from others. That quality has to be seen. So for that, you may have to listen to the various, you may have to attend some programs. You may have to listen to the videos if they have already got some videos, your competitors have got some videos already, or you may even get some feedback from the people who have attended a particular kind of trainer or the training program. What is their competence? What is the competence? What is their presence in the market? And that has to be seen, because you have to compare yourself with that. Because if you do not compare yourself with that, you cannot exist in the market. So you have to see what's your competence and what are the threats. I mean, threats in the sense, in terms of your capability, in terms of your program delivery, in terms of your management of the program, right? Or where do you stand? I don't say that every beginner who will start with will have these kinds of issues. That does not mean that one cannot do it. One can always do it. But the only thing is one has to make an assessment of all these things and need to see where the gap remains. How far one has to develop himself in this particular area. And one very important thing which I must say that, which we'll be talking about the next point, is that the competitive strength. What's your strength? That's very, very important. Anybody can compete with anybody, provided he can find out his own strength, right? Understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your own, as well as understanding the strengths and weaknesses of the other people, those who are your competitors, is essential for developing a particular kind of program, making kind of particular planning, so that you can equip yourself. If you are already strong in certain areas, you must be able to highlight that. And if you've got some weakness, you should be able to remove that. You cannot have all the strengths, neither you will have all the weaknesses. So to find out what's your competitive strength, and according to that, you have to define your competitive priorities, and you have to depend upon that, right? So the competitor analysis is very, very important for a trainer who is going to initiate in this field, who is going to do, how he is going to do, what is the quality of his program, what is his competence. Competence here doesn't mean that what actually he is competent about, how the competence is being felt by the other people, right? You may have your own judgment that he is not so competent, but the other people, the audiences likes him. So there lies you have to understand why people likes him. What are the things that really he is delivering that really influencing the people? Whether you do have that, if not, can you develop that? So what are the threats in this? Threats will always remain. But threats are the force that compels you to think that how can I become better. So, and on the basis of that, you have to create your own competitive strength And on the basis of your understanding that you're making your, deriving your competitive strength, defining your strength, understanding and depending upon competitive strength, you can develop further. Then yes, there's something in general that I said you have to make your SWOT analysis. That's what's your strengths, what are weaknesses. That will always remain. There's nothing to be, neither you should be very happy about your strengths, nor you should be unhappy about your weaknesses. Those are going to remain. Always must think that if they have to do still better, because things will change. If you do something good today, some other people will follow it. So you have to do still better. It's a continuous process of developing yourself from one point to the other point. And yes, of course, here the very, very important thing here out of these four is the opportunities. You know, that is one of the most important thing for for a trainer, whether it is in the initial stage or is already an established thing. Understanding the opportunities is very, very important. There are people who, in spite of the fact there are many opportunities, they cannot avail it because of various reasons. So today, if you want to avail an opportunity, you have to develop your agility, you know. You have to become very fast. The days are gone when you used to say that maybe slow and steady wins the race. You know, slow and steady doesn't win the race today, right? You have to become fast and consistent. You have to become very fast. You have to get the opportunity, grab the opportunity the moment it comes into the market. You should be able to visualize the opportunity and bang on it and to start with it, right? Those who can understand and realize the opportunities and immediately start taking action on that, they are going to win today. Now that today is a day of agility, and a trainer has to understand that. And those opportunities, understanding the opportunities, realizing the opportunities is one of the most important thing for a trainer has to do. So he has to think about it, decide get to catch hold of the opportunity, think for the events to be done, and has to done it at the quickest possible time. And of course, the threats are in the sense the competition. They are available in the market. People will go in for that. So people will go in for on what issues that you have to see. Whether people may find that somebody's program is costlier. People may find that somebody's program is good, right? So people may find that who is a reputed person already in the market. So you have to think of all these things, and you have to add badges to your feather so that people can really recognize you, and you can do it through doing marketing. Say, for example, if you are going to start your program, going to start in the market as a trainer, you must make people feel your existence in the market. How can you make it feel? How can you make it felt in the market? You can have videos, you can upload your YouTube videos on different subjects, and people will come to know that you are existing in the market. They'll get a glimpse of what do you say and how do you do, and that can become a very important introduction for you in the market to happen, right? You know, there is nothing that cannot be done, and there's no thread that can stop you, provided you have that innovative thinking, that creative thinking. You think, you think further, and you'll find the ways out. And you have to become very agile to work upon those things the conclusions that you have got out of your finding. So SWOT analysis in event planning is important. So making your event, how you are going to make the event, and what are the things that you take into account. Well, the next thing is, after making your analysis, you should make an analysis of that, not in your mind only. You should write down everything. So I have not written anything as an analysis report. That report will involve what kind of program is most popular today in the market. Who are the people that are conducting this kind of program? Where they are conducting this kinds of programs? What are the costs involved in this kinds of program in such and such places? What are the modes of doing communication? The marketing, the communication for marketing. And if that is there, now what is the cost involved in making that marketing process, right? And make an analysis, write down each and everything point by point, and see where do you stand, and take up one by one and try to solve the issues, because there is nothing which you cannot solve. It may take some time. Today, if you want to become a trainer, certain things are very, very important, that you have to become more technical. You know, to understand the technical things. You may take the help of other people, but you have to understand what you're going to do. Number one. And so you have to make your presence felt in the market by doing the videos, right? That's one another area. You have to make your presence felt by the other ways also. You can even can become an author by which people come to know about you. So even that can be a way of attracting people, making people know your existence in the market. So you know, make an analysis that how you can really go about it and how you can step by step develop your credentials and you become accepted by the people in the market. Events planning in a little different way, just to say that there is a 5 Ws concept. That 5 Ws you have to take care of. Why you are going to do the event, that has to be made very clear. I mean, it should resonate with the people, to your target group, that the purpose of the training, the purpose of the event. And if the purpose is unique, and people will accept it very well. So why, what kind of event you are going to do, right? After the purpose, what kind of event, how you're going to conduct it, what are the mode of conducting, what kind of experience you want to give to the people, right? Well, and when it is going to happen, what are the date and the time. So these are all issues you have to take into account while managing an event. What is the date and time when you're going to conduct it, where you're going to conduct it, what is the place, which is the venue that you're going to choose, and how you're going to do. So you have to think about the, even the venue itself is very, very important. The place itself is very, very important, right? Well, who is going to do, mean in the sense, are you alone, or you have got some other people with you who is working with you? You know, everything cannot be done alone. You know, you should always try to collaborate with certain other people, or hire some people by which, with the help of which, you can accomplish a program. So coordinate the programs. Do you have a team who is going to look after this, right? So you think about all these 5 aspects, that why you're doing, what is the purpose of doing this program, uh, what is the type of event you're going to do, when this program is going to conduct it, what is the place and the venue of the program, who is going to do along with you, who is going to help you in this process. A very important one, very important issue is event venue selection. You know, why it is important? It has got different push and pull in it. Number one, if you take a costly venue that may be very good, but the expenditure will be very high. Now, what are the amount that you're going to charging for the people? Whether the people can afford to pay that, that's a question. So your venue selection will depend upon what amount of, what, not only the budget, what you're going to get from the people. Right? You cannot make it something a charitable event. So if you make a charitable event, that's another issue. But if it's a commercial event, then you have to see how much people are going to pay, and because you can only pay out of that. So event selection is important from that point of view. But there is another point of view. If you get a good venue, that creates a better impact in the minds of the people. Now, the venue is not good, then the people may not be attracted to that extent, right? So people have got, it has got two different things involved in it. Number the cost involved, number the impression that you can create by selecting the event. So that venue will be selected on the basis of few things. Number one, the target audience. Who are the people who are going to come? Because depending on the kind of people who are going to join that program, you have to select a venue, because there may be a certain category of people who may not like to go to a particular kind of event, and their expectations become higher. Maybe they can also afford to pay for that. The guest size, the size of the accommodation, how much big accommodation do you want, what kind of space that you require, and what kind of program you're going to do, how much bigger space do you want. The convenience of the target audience, what kind of food and all other facilities are available in that particular place. That's important, because that will again has to resonate with the convenience of the people, that particular kind of perception of convenience of the target group. The venue history, that's the important thing, that what is the experience of other people who had conducted such kind of program in this place. If you can afford to get those kinds of feedback, that can really give you something where some very important feedback, so that you can think about that. Venue history is important. The venue services, then you may have to specifically go and talk to the people there, that what are the services they're going to give, and as per the expectations of the people who are going to attend the program. What is the kind of security arrangement? Even that is important. The security arrangement, what kind of security arrangement is there in general, that is received. What are the fees of the venue? That's a very, very important issue because that it directly affects you. What are the fees, the charges they are going to take? And you must know that in case of venue, that most of the venues, they have got certain fixed amount they want to get whenever you hire some venue. Say, they may say that for 10 people is minimum that they are going to charge from you. Other 15 people minimum they're going to charge from, depending upon the venue. So if there is a price, say somebody says that I'll charge $1,000 per day per participant, but you have to pay for at least 15 people. So 15,000 is the minimum expenditure that you have to make while selecting that particular venue. So you have to become very sure that at least you can get that many target group of it, participants, so that you become at least cost to cost. You're not going to incur any loss. So how we are going to do that? The venue fees is very important, and also you have to see the nitty-gritties, the inner things about that. Because you may have to go in for the LCD projector, you may have to go for the sound system, whether the charges are already included in the charges that you're paying to the going to pay to the for the venue, or those are an extra. You have to just talk about that. You may have to negotiate for that. So the venue fees is very important because that's going to directly affect your the completion of the program, the successful completion of the program. Yes, it's not say so. Less important. I think the parking facility available. And sometimes it happens even that the venue is in such a crowded place, people do not get any parking facility. So there is a it creates negativity in the mind of the people. They may not at all like to attend that kind of program. So whether there is any parking facility available in this, so venue selection is very important, because it creates an impression at the one hand, and at the other hand, it involves the cost effectiveness of a program. You have to balance between the two. You cannot just only look at the cost, but you cannot ignore the image of the program. So you have to think about this. So really, venue selection is an important issue. One very, very important issue is event marketing promotional campaign, because no event can take place if you do not market it properly. And today, because people do not have time, they will not go for you, they will not search for you, you have to reach to them. And not only reach to them, you have to hammer at their ears continuously. And then people will take note of that. And you have to show your differentiation, how you're different from others, and then only you will accept it. So you have to set up your advertising objectives. What kind of advertisement you are going to give? Whether you're going to use social media, or you're going to do some, you're going to do some pamphlet, or you're going to advertise to your website. So you have to take into account various things, and then to decide various promotional activities, using the Facebook ads, or using LinkedIn, or using some other kind of training program, making an open house session. What kind of promotional activities you are going to do? And for promoting, today's social media is very, very, very important. You can also promote yourself through the WhatsApp. So one has to we specifically see that how today in particular, it is the age of promotion, and so you have to be able to promote. The best suggestion is that you should look for a reasonable person who is going to do promotions for you and outsource from somewhere. But you should take always the credentials of that person, the past experience of other people with him. What media are you going to use? Which other media? See, one single media is never enough today. You have to take different media to which you have to come. You have to make the social media, you have to take all WhatsApp, you have to use your website, and all these kinds of things. So social media is very, very important. You should be conversant with that. And in social media also, you can use Facebook, you can use Twitter, you can use Instagram, you can use LinkedIn. All these are potential candidates for using the media. And even sometimes people give their ads to these. So that can also be done. How we are going to use the print media, and the print media, the website, the pamphlets, the various kinds of information, the leaflets, how we're going to use it in the newspaper. So what are the print media? Although today these things are comparatively less, but it is not less important. In particular, website is a very important media through which you can really talk about your events. The electronic media, everything is an electronic media now today, and in particular today, Things have changed. As you see, the next point is webinar. And today you may have to, for promoting your particular event or a training program, you may have to conduct a webinar, right? And the days of these lockdown days have taught many of us that how to use a webinar and how it is going to be beneficial for us to propagate our thoughts to the people. Well, but then there is another way which is evergreen, which will continue to remain as email marketing. A lot more labor you need to do, but if you can use some email marketing organizations like MailChimp and so other, you can make your email marketing also, and by which you can go to the number of people, I mean globally also, and you can promote your product. And WhatsApp marketing is also another kind of marketing to do, which is very, very common. And so you have to make your promotional campaign, you have to understand it. And in particular for that, you have to think about who is your target group. Depending on the target group, what is their access to various kinds of media, which place they do go. So you may have to, and it is not also very important that you should not depend upon only one media. You can take multiple medias, and as far as possible, if your cost budget permits, you should make an outsourcing of that, but you should first understand those things very clearly. So even marketing promotion is very, very important. Event evaluation, whatever event that you have done, you need to evaluate it, because every event that you have done is going to give you some understanding, some knowledge, which may be beneficial for you for the new events to come, or whether you could achieve your objective. I mean, you could properly do the training program. You could make your event proper, effective, and people have accepted it, and you have need better, you should take some feedback. But the feedback that you get is very, very important. And today there is a trend of taking feedback electronically. I mean, one can take a video recording of people, what they say about it, and that become an instrument further to use it, as you'll see in the next slide. You can promote your events with the past events and testimonials, right? Your past events, you can show it in your website. So place your the pictures or the images of the past events, what has been done, or the people that you're giving the training. You can put it into your website that people will look into it and can estimate and understand what you're doing. You can give advertisement, and that's what you have done earlier. Say you post a video in the Facebook, where you have already given a training program that people will know about you. You will come to know about it. That also in the process. The testimonials given by others that can be shown, that can be placed in the website. When people goes about it, they read about it, and they will come to know what you are already doing. But you have to be, and it should not be very excessive, because people will understand these are all made testimonials. They should show that the credential has to be very clear that it's a genuine testimonial. The photographs you can place in the website and all other places, or in the social media. You can conduct a special event where you can not only promote your future product, you can also talk about the past programs that you've already conducted, so that people may come to know what you've already conducted, and they know about what kind of program you're going to conduct in future. So these are certain things which are very, very important in event management. And for the budding trainers who has the dream for being a trainer, it's not an impossible thing. Anyone can become a trainer, and anyone can become an established trainer also. It depends on how he thinks about it, how systematically he plans out it, and proceeds step by step. Remember, it's not a one day affair. You have to just step in step by step. And if you stick to it, if you persistently follow it, there is all chances that you'll be able to do it. So with that, we come to the conclusion of this program. I would like that if you've got any question on this, I try to cover up. If you still have got any question, please come out so that I can talk to you.
So Sarpita,
Yeah.
here. So I don't have a question, but feedback to add. Like you mentioned, webinar. I see quite a few trainers these days doing a promotional webinar of 1 to 2 hours, and later, once they have captured the attendance or the attention of the audience, they are then promoting their proper programs to attend and the cost and venue, etc.
Yeah.
So is that a trend that you see will continue?
That a
That can continue even post the lockdown when things open up?
can you please rephrase the question? I couldn't make
Is,
close to the last question.
I'm asking, is this a trend that you see continuing post the lockdown also, that we can do a webinar or
it is.
some such
See,
takeaway? Yeah.
Right, right. You see, what we're seeing today in the lockdown period as a webinar, this is already happening internationally for quite long, maybe for the last few years, you know. And maybe for in India it is comparatively new, although it's not new, but comparatively new. But in other countries it is already there. You go to many other countries. So webinar is a very common process, very common way of doing it. Only thing is we have the people in India has just started knowing about it. They were knowing it, but they didn't do it, right? So now they're doing it, and it's a very good way of promoting your product. See, as we have talked about somewhere, somebody asked, maybe you have asked me about the open session. When you do an open session, you hire a venue, hire a hall, you incur certain expenditures, and then there you promote your product, you talk about your product. Whereas the same thing you can do through a webinar with a very little cost, and the cost is negligible, you know.
Right.
You can do that. So this webinar is going to remain even after the COVID period. It's a very common feature, and it's a very useful thing that the trainers are using, right?
Right.
Is that okay?
Right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Hello? No question? Any question, Mr. Agrawal?
Yes, sir.
Very much. All the best. Take care. See you in the next program.
You too,
All the
sir.
best.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
a lot.
Bye.
Bye.